welcome to another yoga studio. I'm Kat, for those of you who haven't tried our videos before, and it's great to have everybody back with us on the mat today. So today we have a fundamentals of yoga video, and we're going to try and work out how to get ourselves through the sun salutation. So if you are completely new to yoga, then just try your best, and remember it might not all make sense or seem possible first time round. Those of you who perhaps tried the sun salutation before and are looking to just sort of brush up on it and maybe refine a few points, then hopefully this will help sort out a few little bits along the way. So we're going to start in a comfortable sitting position. So if you're not used to sitting on the floor, definitely recommend just grabbing a cushion. And if you haven't tried yoga before, a cushion can sometimes feel quite useful to help out with some of the floor poses anyways. It's always useful to have one by your side. Sit comfortably, so that could be a cross-leg position, or it could be with the legs in front. Just try and sit tall. So if you're aware that you're slouching, we're just going to roll the shoulders back and try and lift the chest a little. And then bring your hands just to rest on your lap, and we're going to take the right hand on top of the left. Close your eyes and just take some big breaths in. So we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And then bring your hands onto your lower belly, just underneath the belly button. And maybe you can feel the breath coming all the way down into the belly so that your belly is pushing into your hands. If that isn't the case, don't worry about it. Just do the best you can. And we're just going to be here for 2 more breaths. So we want to try and keep that awareness of the breathing as we start to work through our little yoga poses that we're going to do, but don't worry if you lose it. Just try and remember and come back to the breathing whenever you can. So open the eyes, and we're just going to take a little twist to start to warm the spine up. Ready? So we're going to breathe in, reach the arms up, and then as you exhale, twist to one side. Get a big breath in again. And then we're going to inhale, bring the arms back into the middle, reach up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, twist the other side. Big breath in and out. And then release back into the center and come round into a all fours position. So move the cushion out of the way if you need to. Put any little bit of padding that you might need underneath your knees to support the knees. And then we're just bringing the hips over the knees, the shoulders over the wrists, spread the fingers out, and we're going to come into our cat stretch. So we breathe out, squeeze the belly button into the spine, push the back up towards the ceiling, tuck the bottom under, tuck the chin to the chest to make our cat. And then as you breathe in, press the front of the chest to the floor so your tailbone turns up and you lift your head. The neck the other way. So breathe out round. So imagine you're kind of making a rainbow shape from the knees up through the hips, up through the spine, and then down through the shoulders to the hands. And then reverse it. And that arch comes from the very tip of the tailbone all the way through to the crown of the head. Try to keep your arms nice and strong so that we're not bending the elbows, keep pushing down through the arms. Nice slow movement as you just warm the spine up. We're going to go for 2 more in either direction. So exhale, round up to cat. Inhale, round the shoulders back. Press the chest forwards, come to cow. So these 2 positions are quite useful to remember as we work through the next poses. So we round up to cat, arch to cow. So we're going to round up 1 more time. So squeeze the belly in, press the back up, push the shoulder blades away from each other, and then keep drawing the belly button in. We're just going to look in between the hands then now. Slide one leg back behind you so you can keep your knee on the floor, and then just slide the second leg back. Keep that feeling of tucking the tailbone under and pulling in with the belly, and we are suddenly in our half plank position. So hold and breathe here. We're going to be here for 2 breaths. And then bring the knees back in. Maybe just take a moment to lift up, shake the wrists out if you need it, and then come back into that tabletop position. So you have your knees under your hips, your hands under your shoulders. Hold the shoulder blades back. Breathe out, round up through the spine, pushing the shoulder blades away from each other. And then we're either going to slide the knees back again to that half plank position, or if you're feeling like you could work a little bit more strongly, step the feet back so you come into that full plank position. You can always do that from sliding the knees back and then just taking the knees up off the floor. Again, keep tucking the tailbone under, pulling the belly in. So you want to keep thinking of that cat stretch position with the upper body. 2 more breaths. And then we're going to come all the way down towards the floor. So as you breathe out, maybe lower the knees to the mat to help, and lower the chest down towards the floor. And we're bringing our fingertips then in underneath the shoulders. Keep the arms in nice and tight so that your elbows and arms are touching the rib cage. And we're going to move into cobra. So we breathe in, just melt the shoulder blades back down the spine. If they feel like they're up by the ears, pull them back. See if you can roll the chest up off the floor. And then as you exhale, roll back down. So a little baby back bend, it doesn't have to be big. As you inhale, roll the chest up. See if you can take the hands up off the floor. And that just checks that you've got your lower back and the muscles in your bum, your glutes working. Release it. And then we're going to do that one more time. See if this time you can come up. Maybe a little bit higher again. So the arms are gently pushing you upwards. But you want to make sure it's the muscles in your lower back and your glutes that are working. Good. Push all the way back through your hands. And we're going to send our hips back to child's pose. So if you can't quite get your hips to your heels, grab that handy little cushion we were talking about. And again, if the head doesn't reach the floor, we can just stack the hands up and bring the floor to the head. Just take a couple of big breaths in here. Let the back relax after plank position, and then after that cobra with the back bend. And then we're going to bring ourselves back into that tabletop position, that all fours position. Maybe just walk yourselves a little bit further up the mat for this one, if you found yourself at the back. So that spread the fingers out, the shoulders are back over the wrists. Tuck the toes under, and as you breathe in, find your cow position. So we draw the tailbone up, press the chest forwards. Breathe out, just lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Think about trying to make a triangle shape. So don't worry if the knees don't straighten fully and the heels don't come to the floor. Breathe in, take the knees down, find that little arch in the back. So try to keep that little bit of an arch in the back as you lift up, and you want to push your chest back towards your knees. Maybe it comes a little bit deeper this time. Now quite often when we're in our downward facing dog, we add a little bit of an easy stretch into the legs. So you lift one heel up higher off the floor, bend the knee, and then that heel comes down, and then the other heel lifts, and the other knee bends. So it's like pedaling the feet out or walking the feet on the spot, just to help ease the legs into that stretch. And then breathe out, take the knees all the way down towards the floor. Roll the belly, the chest forwards again, and then breathe out, lift up one more time. Push the chest back towards your knees, see if you can reach those heels towards the floor. So again, don't worry if they don't come down, just work on trying to open through the backs of the knees and trying to send the heels towards the floor. We're still in our downward dog shape, even if we're here. And then big bend in the knees, walk your feet up towards your hands. So just take as many little steps as you need to, shuffle them there, and then you find yourself in your first forward fold as you let your head drop, and we just let the body drop forwards over the legs. As you next inhale, we're going to start to roll the spine up reach the arms all the way up to Tadasana, a mountain pose. And then let the hands come back down by your side. So if you can feel the wrists a little bit after spending a bit of time resting through the hands, give the wrists a little circle, the hands a little shake. And then we're going to work in our mountain pose. So bring the hands together, gently press the palms together. You're trying to get the arms parallel with the floor underneath. Lift your chest to your thumbs and then push down through your heels so we find a little bit of length. Working on our posture as we stand nice and tall. Breathe in, reach the arms up. See if you can bring your arms to your ears. Bend the knees, exhale. Take the hands all the way down towards your thighs. Drop the belly and the chest forwards. As you breathe in, push through the thighs. Lift your chest up so you can parallel to the floor. Maybe we can start to straighten the legs a little bit. Breathe out, drop the belly and the chest forward. See if you can slide your hands down your legs. So don't worry if your hands don't touch the floor, if you've still got a bend in the knees. Breathe in, tap the tailbone under, roll all the way up towards the ceiling. Bring your arms up towards your ears. Squeeze your glute muscles in like we did with our cobra. Maybe try and lift just a little bit towards the ceiling. So we have a mini back bend. Breathe out, bend the knees, bring your hands down towards your thighs. If that felt good last time, bring your hands down towards your shins. And then see if you can find that halfway lift, that flat back position again. Breathe here. So we're just trying to get the body, sort of trying to think of it being parallel to the floor. It won't necessarily be, but that's what you want to think of yourself being. And then breathe out, maybe slide the hands a little bit further down. Maybe the backs of the knees start to straighten a little bit more as you come back to that forward fold. A big stretch down the backs of the legs. Breathe in, bend the knees a little bit more, maybe round up through the spine. Reach the arms up. Find that Tadasana pose, mountain pose. So use the glutes and then breathe out. Take it all the way back down towards the floor. So maybe this time we straighten out through the knees quite a lot more. So the hands can be on the thighs, the shins, or maybe the fingertips on the floor in that forward fold as we breathe in. Lift the chest and come to that halfway lift, that flat back position. Breathe out, slide the hands a little bit further down the legs if you need to. See if you can come back to that forward fold position, maybe a little bit deeper. And then this time we're going to plant the hands on the floor as you bend the knees. Lift the chest to that flat back position and take a step back with the right leg. So we want to bring our right foot all the way back towards the back of the mat. So if it doesn't automatically reach back, see if you can just shuffle the leg back a little bit. So we end up with our knee over the ankle. Step forwards, and then try that on the other side. So as you breathe in, step the left leg back. Again, if you find you can't move it very far back, try that little bit of a shuffle, pushing your weight of your hips back behind you. Then come back up to the front. Breathe in, round up through the spine. Always come up fairly slowly. The chin's the last thing to lift, particularly if you've been upside down, so we don't end up with all the blood rushing back from the head. Breathe in, reach the arms up. And then bring your hands back into the middle. So now we try and put that all together to make our sun salutation. So you can do this, feet together, but if it is a little bit more comfortable to actually work with the feet underneath your hips, we're going to work with the feet underneath your hips. So breathe in, reach the arms up, squeeze those glutes in, see if the chest can reach that little bit higher towards the ceiling. And then as you breathe out, come all the way down towards the floor to your forward fold. So the hands are on the thighs, the shins, maybe the floor. Bend the knees if you need to, and then we're going to breathe in. Lift the chest, find that halfway lift point, and then bend the knees as the fingertips come towards the floor. Step back with the right leg. So again, add that shuffle if you need to. Bring the right knee down towards the floor, and then shuffle, slide the left leg back, and we're in a half plank position. Breathe out, lower all the way down towards the floor. So hug the elbows and the arms in towards your ribs. Breathe in, try that cobra. So again, it doesn't matter how high you lift up. As you breathe out, we're going to push up through onto the knees, tucking the toes under, fly the hips upwards to that downward facing dog and take a little step in with the feet. Don't move your hands. So again, we can still have the knees bent and the heels lifted. As you breathe in, just take that little walk up towards your hands. Find your forward fold.
So bend the knees if you need to, and then put a bend in the knees as you breathe in, rise all the way up through the spine, lift the chest, and then exhale, sweep it back down towards the floor. So again, find your forward fold position, hands are wherever they feel they can comfortably reach, and then breathe in to that halfway lift point, so hands wherever they need to go. Then plant the hands on the floor as you bend the knees. Take a step back with the left leg. So remember, add that shuffle if you need to. Left knee comes down, right knee comes to join it, and then as you breathe out, lower all the way down towards the floor. Keep that little tuck under with the tailbone and the pull in of the belly in that cat stretch position in your plank. Breathe in, roll the shoulders back to cobra. See if maybe you get a little higher, and then breathe out. Push back through the knees, tuck the toes under, lift the hips up, take that tiny little step in so you just feel you're a little bit more stable on the feet. And then we're going to breathe in. Bring the knees towards the floor. If that step up feels quite easy, those little steps up. And then see if you can sweep your left foot up to the front. And then the right foot shuffles up to join it. Forward fold as you breathe out. Breathe in, sweep it all the way up to your mountain pose. So we're going to do that one more to either side of the legs. Breathe out, take the hands all the way down towards the floor. Remember, they come as far down as you can. Don't worry about how much you straighten or lengthen through the legs. Breathe in, find that flat back position, and then plant the hands down, step back with the right leg. So if you feel comfortable in a full plank position, remember we can do this by coming to the knees first, or you can step straight back, tuck the tailbone under, pull the belly in, cat stretch here, and then breathe out, lower all the way down towards the floor. So we're going to bring the knees down and then lower the chest towards the floor. Keep the elbows in tight, roll the shoulders back, feel your glute muscles and your lower back muscles working into cobra, and then breathe out, push back through the knees, come into that little step into your downward facing dog. From here, see if you can push your body forwards, and as you breathe in, bring your right knee up to your nose. Then flick the right foot down towards the floor. So we want to get it in between the hands, and if it doesn't quite get there, you then shuffle it up from there. If that's too much, remember you come down to the knees and step up, or take your lots of little steps up from your downward facing dog. Bring the feet together. Breathe out as you come to your forward fold. So remember, bend the knees there if it helps. Maybe take the hands a little higher. And then breathe in, little bend in the knees just to protect the back as we reach up to our Tadasana pose. Breathe out, come all the way down towards the floor. We're going to go through this one more time on the left leg. Find that little halfway lift wherever it is for you. Then bend the knees, plant the hands, step back with the left leg. So again, come to the knees if you want, or try it with the leg lifted. Come back with the right leg, so half plank or full plank here. Tuck the tailbone under, squeeze the belly in, breathe out, lower down towards the floor. Try maybe not taking the knees down first if you're feeling strong. Breathe in, roll the shoulders back, find your cobra, lifting up with the chest. And then again, if you're feeling strong, tuck the toes under, don't come up through the knees, breathe out, push through your plank, and then into your downward facing dog. It's getting more and more complicated. Keep breathing, keep working at it. We're doing really well. From that downward dog position, remember you've got your walk up, you've got that movement from your tabletop position, or as you breathe in, push yourself forwards into your plank, bring your left knee up towards your nose and do your best to bring it in between your hands. Shuffle it there if you need to. The feet shuffle up together or step up together, and then breathe out. Come to that forward fold. Big stretch through the back of the legs. Breathe in, reach out. Remember, each posture is just finding, working at your own level. See if you can squeeze the glutes in, get the arms towards the ears. Don't worry if they aren't there. And then breathe out. Bring your hands down to your heart. Close your eyes. So just put the palms together in that prayer position, just in front of the chest. See if you can take some big breaths in. It's quite, we might well have lost that awareness of the breath as we've been working through that sun salutation. That's absolutely fine. There's a lot of instructions going on.
But just come back to taking some nice big breaths in now. If you can, breathe into the belly, but again, don't worry if it doesn't get there. But just notice how the breathing might have changed when you were sat at the mat at the start. Notice if perhaps you're just a little bit warmer in the body. Do you feel like you've maybe done a little bit of work here? And then bow your head to your fingers in Namaste as you just thank yourself and acknowledge the effort you made working through this on Salutations. Well, good. Thank you very much for joining me on the mat. I hope that all made sense. If it didn't, leave a comment with a question below and I will do my best to answer it. Or if you liked it, leave a comment. Leave a thumbs up and remember to subscribe to the channel just to keep up to date with all our other videos. I hope to see you again on the mat soon. Take care now. Bye.